Hello everyone, I am Will, and welcome back to my playthrough of Dark Souls 2, Scholar of the First Sin. Last we left off, we pressed forward into Drangelic Castle. Start off at the bonfire down by the King's Gate. The one King's Gate that'll eventually lead to the final arena, but so started there, enter the big room. This big room with a bunch of stone soldier statues, two golems in the background, and several doors on both sides. So we just kind of slowly, methodically cleared that room out. We had two doors already open from the episode before that, but we just opened up the other ones. Started off on the left side. Took care of the rune sentinel from the one already open door, the stone soldiers in front of that, and went to the next one, which had another. There's a rune sentinel behind every door, so that's like 5 different rune sentinels. So they're pretty tanky. So it's a rough fight, especially if you don't want to aggro the other stone soldiers that are in the middle of the room. But we went. So the middle door on the left, rune sentinel. I think they had a Pharaoh's lockstone as well. The one in the back left, this is when you, from the bonfire, you face the room, the one in the back left, just to orient ourselves. So the one in the back left had another rune sentinel, but also had a crumbling floor. At least just crumbling floor. It was a crumbling floor that will eventually lead us down and into a pretty dark area with a Dark Stalker, the From armor set, another bonfire, but more importantly, our third encounter with Dark Diver Grendel. So since we found him in all 3 locations, he'll actually talk to us, allowed us to join the Pilgrim of the Dark Covenant. And we can now go into the Chasm of the Abyss, or the Dark Chasm of Old, I think is what they're called. But they're the Chasms of the Abyss. I'm just going to call them the Chasm of the Abyss. So now we can actually go in there. We have to go in through each of the locations we found him in. There's a portal in each of his locations. The first one's open to you for free, so we can probably go back to the one we first found him in Black Gulch, and that should also be open. At least it should. But so we have to do all 3 locations to progress the Covenant, the Dark Diver Covenant, and that'll eventually lead us to a boss fight with the Dark Lurker, and that should be the end of Grendel, but that's for a bit later. So we just found his last location, the bonfire, and then back to the big room. We activated the 2 golems in the back. Those 2 golems just raise up their little torches and give light to the room, which definitely helps. And if you light, I think both of them, a summon sign appears. It's a Bashful Ray. So he's a shade, so he will eventually time out, but he's there if you need it. And then going across the room to the back right, there is another ruined sentinel. I'm trying to remember, there was a chest, but I don't quite remember what was in it. I don't quite remember. It's something. It'll probably come back to me, maybe. But so that room, a chest, and then the last door on the middle right, again another rune sentinel. This time was another chest. This one I remember because it was the Macedon Greatsword. It's just probably one of the best great swords in the game in terms of just pure strength. If you're going like pure strength build, it's probably one of the better great swords. Just because it has a high base scaling, so it is a good sword. It is heavy though. I think it's like 16 units, just woof. But if you're going strength, that's your great sword of choice. With that was the last of that room. Then we went through the first door on the right, because that is the way forward. Led us to like another room with the frozen flower key item, which will allow us to access the Crown of the Ivory King. There's another pickup with I think a hero soul and maybe some life gems. up the stairs. I think there's another chest with, I think some bolts. I think it was just some bolts, but eventually kept going up the stairs. Eventually led us outside to where there's the corrosive pit on the left. It's a little pit filled with corrosive acids. There is an item in there. I don't quite remember what that was. I think it was like a soul item in a chest. A chest containing the corrosive urn. So, is it worth it? Maybe, but yeah. So we removed all of our equipment, our rings, armor, weapons, all that stuff, just so we can traverse the acid pits. But once you do get inside, 2 royal swordsmen will just kind of either rise from the pool or they'll kind of jump down. But either way, you will get ambushed by 2 swordsmen. So we just kind of quickly ran back up, equipped the weapon real quick, took care of them. Yep. And we just kind of cleared out the little acid pit. Again, just a random item, which I think is a soul item, and a chest with corrosive urn. So, woohoo! And then we just kind of pressed forward. Trying to remember exactly where we went. It was a big open room, stairs up into another room, the mask room, where there's a bunch of masks on the walls and a chest in the middle. The masks only activate when you open up the chest. So if you don't open up the chest, you can just run past the room. Although it is worth opening the chest because there's like a Twinkling Titanite and I think a Brave Soul Warrior in there, so it's definitely worth it. But once you open the chest, all the masks are active at that point. So walking by them, they'll cause them to shoot out a poison arrow. So it can be very dangerous after that point. And so just be careful. Yep, so after that, we continued up the stairs to the painting room. You have the room with a giant painting of the Queen, Nisandra, as well as 3 petrified CN Knights that will unpetrify when you get close. Yeah, so we just kind of dealt with those CN Knights, looted the items. I think one of them was a petrified dragon bone, another one's like a soul item, and something else. Yeah, but the thing with that room is that the painting of Nisandra is cursed. If you stand too close, it will curse, like the curse jars. So that kind of tells you that maybe there's something off with Nisandra. Yeah. So, yep. And then we stepped out to, well, continue forward. That led us out to the upper balconies. But before that, there is an invader right there. So you step out. If you try to go up the stairs, the invader will invade behind you. But if you're quick enough, when you see the invader come in, if you're quick enough, you can run back to the painting room where you can just kind of fight the invader there, giving you a good space without having to worry about other enemies. Yep. And that invader was the Nameless Usurper. Yep. A female character with a bandit knife, but more importantly, she was wearing the Saint set. And the only other NPC we know of that wields the Saint set is Lycia. Could that have been Lycia? Well, yeah, it's Lycia, but we'll get a confirmation of that later on. But yeah, so Nameless Usurper, dealt with her. Just got an effigy from her. We will see her again. Nameless Usurper will show up again in the Undead Crypt, so yeah. So we'll see her again. Yeah. So then after that, we were outside again on the almost like little, I wouldn't really call it ramparts, but outdoor area. I don't know. That's stairs to like little rooms, if you want to call them that. They don't have really walls, but it's just like gazebos on stilts. I don't know. But it's an outdoor area with the rain and dealing with royal swordsmen and CN Knights coming from unpetrifying themselves. Yeah. But we get to, I think, the top. There's a ladder on the immediately to the left. We took that down, dealt with another royal swordsman, picked up, I think, another soul item. And in that little area, there's a fake wall with a bonfire hidden inside. Yep. So we found that little bonfire. It's a good place for bonfire, in my opinion. Yeah, because up to that point, we were traveled a good ways between bonfires. So if we hadn't seen that one, this would be our next bonfire after a boss. And it's not a hard boss, so the usefulness of that bonfire is questionable, but it's a nice one to have. And that was also, so we found the bonfire. There's another ladder down that led to a chest containing the hunter's black bow and what do they call the hat? And the hunter's hat. Yes. So the hunter hat and the hunter bow was in that chest. It's basically Ferris's hat from Dark Souls 1 and Ferris's black bow from Dark Souls 1 as well. And it's very long range, very high dex scaling. It also seemed to shoot pretty quickly from what I saw, but I did upgrade it, so I do have it on us. We'll see how it works. But so found that chest, took the ladders back up all the way, continued forward. I don't think we had any more enemies at that point, but we did come upon Queen Cassandra herself. You know, she was sitting on a chair, and we talked to her, or she talked to us anyway. Yeah, she basically talked about how Vendrick had the power of a monarch, and when he faced the giants, he had it even more. And she said that, you know, they're going. How did she put it? She wanted us to go find Vendrick, and she also mentioned that there cannot be two monarchs, which kind of implies she wants us to go find Vendrick and kill him. Which is, wow, lady, you want us to kill your husband, huh? Well, the painting should have told you that there was something wrong, and that dialogue right there should have told you even more that something's wrong. But yeah, there's something wrong with Cassandra. There's actually more to her, but we'll come upon that when we get more items with descriptions. But yep. So we talked to Cassandra, pressed forward, and then we took on the duo Dragon Riders. Yep. Yeah, duo Dragon Riders. One of them's the red one. He's on the ground. He's the melee one. He'll run at you and try to melee you. And the other one is a dark blue one who sits up on a pillar in the back, shooting arrows at you. Yep. Yeah. So the best thing to do is just kind of run past the red one, try to go to the blue one. Either he can fall on his own, otherwise you have to get the red one to smash the pillar he's standing on. And then you're just going to have to focus on the blue one. Yeah, because the blue one is much less health than the red one. So he can kill him pretty quickly. And that's probably the best thing to do. Just kill the blue one as quickly as you can while avoiding the red one. And once the blue one's down, the red one's just another Dragon Rider fight. Not very hard. Yep. We just had to... The only reason it seemed hard to us because I didn't manage my stamina properly, but... But we did end up beating them. Got another Dragon Rider soul. Yep. Came in here, lit the bonfire, talked to Benhart of Jugo, who was here. He's now gone since we warped out and came back. And that was it. Yep, that was it. Just continued deeper into Drangelic Castle. Yep. Eventually met Nishandra, took care of the Dragon Rider, Nameless Usurper, some of the good stuff. And between episodes, I didn't really do anything, or didn't do much. I did bought Titi Grin's little chest piece here. I really do like how it looks. Almost have like little spider-like things in the back, which is really cool. Yeah, so I bought his little chest piece, also bought his scythe from Valencia. I upgraded the Hunter's Black Bow to +6 or 8? +8, okay. Yeah. And I'm trying to think what else did I do. I think that was it. I think that's all I did was just buy Tucci Grin's armor pieces, upgraded the bow. Yeah, that was it. Yeah, that was actually everything I did. Didn't do much, because most of my covenant farming is kind of done for now. I have all the items that I could get so far. I do need to go back to, I think, Cromwell? I think it's Cromwell. Yeah, I think I have to go back to Cromwell eventually to get the rest of his like little spells, miracles. Whoever sells the profane still. I think that's Cromwell, but so I'll have to go back to him to get his spells, but I can do that eventually. So, yep, didn't do much between episodes, and today we'll be hopefully finishing up Drangelic Castle. Shouldn't have too much left. Although what we do have left is rather tedious, to say the least. Especially the run up to the Looking Glass Knight. Ugh, that's going to be a real pain. I'll probably have to change weapons once we get to that point. But hopefully we don't have much left. I don't remember much, but... Yeah. So, yeah, that's the plan. Just finish up the castle. And again, we'll be fighting... Hopefully find the Looking Glass Knight with Benhart of Jugo, because that is another boss you can summon him for to do his little quest line thing. Yeah, because he's one of those you have to summon him 3 times. He has to survive 3 times in order to get his stuff at the end. So, yeah. Hopefully finishing up the castle. Yep. And our equipment for today, at least starting off. I think I didn't do my rings yet. Nope. Have the Black Steel Katana +9, because I think it goes well with this little outfit. Again, this weapon will probably change depending on the situation, especially once we get to the Looking Glass Knight, because I'll probably change out to the mace for the enemies leading up to the fight, because they are weaker to strike damage. Hunter's Black Bow +8, it does just under what our composite bow does, and our composite bow is 1 level higher in an upgrading level, so they're basically the same, except this has a much further shot range, and if I had more strength, the composite bow would probably be better, but for now, Hunter's Black Bow I think will be better for us. Although we may not be able to really use it because we're in a castle, so Royal Cat Shield just for the physical defense with a 100% physical negation. Priest Chime because we should be chucking some spells, chucking some lightning spears. My little Reaper get up? I don't know what you want to call it, but Hood of the Forlorn, Near Alma robes. Got these from killing a Tichigrin and buying them from Malintia. Grim Warrior gloves and Rogue leggings. Yep, not upgraded because I didn't have enough Titanite shards and I didn't feel like getting more, so we're stuck like this. Yeah, so most of our defense is going to be coming from these gloves, surprisingly. But, alright. As for our rings, I am tempted to use that. Ring of Blades because we're doing pure physical. Prayer just so we can use Great Lightning Spear. And Clear Blue Stone for faster casts. Yep. So these might, again, change depending on the situation, but yep, our ring setup. Yep. Get my life gems on there as well as my green blossoms. Iron arrows, poison arrows. Go lightning arrows. Sure. Although we could infuse this. 108. And use lightning arrows. Sure, why not? Alright. Here are our stats. Should be the same as last time. Looking pretty good. Looking pretty good. Alright. Alright. Shall we get to this? Alright. So we have the way down or the way up? I think the way up. That's death. Oh. Ah. Lawn Captain, huh? I'll just get you right down here. Because there is a gargoyle up there, you can actually see it. Right there, that's a gargoyle. It will come to life, so we'll have to deal with it. Oh yes, we can't come this way, I guess. We have to go, I forgot about that. Nope, we have to go around, I guess. Wait, hold on. Gotta make sure. Is there no lever? Nope, no lever, okay. I forgot, we have to come at it from a different way, so we have to go through the other way. Because that's the shortcut back this way, I believe. Alright. So that... Well, we could just rest again, but... Eh. Here's an elevator. We will have to activate it, but... There's a ladder there. This will call the elevator. Locked. It requires a key. It's an elevator ladder it is. Pretty long ladder, too. There we go. Ah, yes. This golem activates the elevator. This is a drop down, so there's no way back. This will eventually lead us to the other end where we went first. It'll eventually lead us back that way. So, all right. Making sure there's nothing on the ceilings. All right, so we just have to deal with the soldiers. Who's gonna come alive? Or do I have to lure an enemy in here? I think I have to lure an enemy in here. Alright. Yep. All ghosts. They have the same sound effect as the ghosts of New Londo. Alright, there should be some mannequins in here that we'll have to lure to the golem. Yep. Alright, lure him over here. There we go. Thanks for the boots. So he activates. And then there goes the elevator. Alright. So now we have a way to the Looking Glass Knight. At least I think it's the Looking Glass Knight. No, it's the way to the Melfinito and the Embedded. Yes, you'll see. It is a long, long elevator. So now we have two chests. None of them are mimics. They shouldn't be trapped, but... Old Knight Hammer. Another hammer of the old knights, I guess. Oh, the one some of them are wielding. Yeah, this one. Yeah, sometimes just as things fall to pieces, it unleashes its last flash of great power. Okay. Here we have Caithus Chime and Soul Greatsword. Interesting. Caithus Chime. Ooh, pure dark. So if you want to cast dark or cast hexes with your chime, this is the one you want to use. Yep. Sacred Chime, blessed by Caitha, or how do you want to pronounce it? Goddess of Tears. Hex dedicated catalyst. Cannot be used to cast miracles. Caitha, the goddess of tears, is known as a compassionate being that is with us in times of tragedy, but some believe that she is a demoness that guides us towards misfortune. I mean, very, very good cast speed. Yeah, look at that. Base 145. One of the fastest casting chimes in the game, but only for hexes. Only for hexes. Interesting. Yep. And we also got a Great Soul Sword? Yes, this one. Soul Great Sword. We can actually use it. Sorcery that attacks foes using a sword made of souls. Energy is focused to a single point. It wields it as a sword with both hands. Use of the sorcery is not too dissimilar to swordplay, and so inherently endangers the caster. You basically have to be in melee range to use it, but it does have a decent sized area to it. So, yeah, we've seen some of the NPCs use it against us. Armor Dennis, the Gutter Denizen, they used this. So now we can use it ourselves. Cool. Nice. Alright. Don't think there's any fake walls in here. We do have a shade. It is Sellsword Luit. Cool. What greaves is he using? I want those greaves. I don't remember what they are. Also those CN greaves, maybe. Or Hade's Knight greaves, probably? Oh, yeah, Hade's greaves. Alright, whatever. Sellsword Luit, if you need them. Although, you'll... Oh, this room. Okay, I remember this room, yeah. This room had a lot of changes from the original one. The biggest is the main enemy in this room. Yep. Yeah, it is a chariot. Yeah, there's also old knights above us. Yeah. But there, yeah, it's another executioner chariot. I know. Let me get my gold pine, or you want to go fire? I think fire. We'll go fire. No, stay on theme. Lightning. Alright. So, I think in the original, there was Alon Knights above us. Alon Knight captains. And they were shooting like arrows at us. But now I think it's just old knights. And that guy is also new to the Scholar of the First Sin. Though I don't quite remember what was here before. Unless it might have been another old knight, like one of them. But, yep. But it is. I don't think the knights will aggro us if while we fight him, but just keep an eye out for them. Gonna have to keep an eye out. Hopefully there's no more Alon Knights in here. That would suck if they did. Alright. Here, horsey. Still tanky as ever, huh? What you doing? Should have seen that coming. Oh, you're not dead yet? Well, now you are. Yep. He doesn't respawn, and he's guaranteed to drop Gower's Ring of Protection. Yep. Very interesting ring. We'll take a look at it once we clear out this room with the rest of the little items. Much tankier than the ones in Hade's Tower, that's for sure. you. Gauntlets, don't mind if I do. Upstairs to the right. Well, there's 2 more old knights, though. I think they'll come at us together eventually. Yeah, they're gonna come after us. So it's probably best to not fight them up here. But luckily we got one of them down pretty quickly. Ooh, that could have been worse. Thank you. Man, I'm getting item drops, and he dropped an effigy, which is really nice. We'll take those. So this, not a mimic. I don't think you're trapped. Firestorm. That's another chaos fire pillar spell, similar to Chaos Storm and what's the other one? Actually, do we already have that one? Oh, we already do have that one. Okay, so just another copy of that. I think we bought this one from Rosabeth? No. I don't quite remember where we got the first one, but we have 2 of them now. Alright, I guess. But this chest, this is a mimic. Yep. Yep. You can tell because of the latch on it. You can barely see some of the teeth between the so mimic. So first things first, let's put our fire on. Where are you? First things first, throw Lloyd's talisman at it just to confirm. Yep. Mimic, washing pole, and petrified dragon bone. Alright. I thought the dark mask would be in there, but I guess not. Alright. So. Alright. Which chest gets fire? Stand back and miss your lightning spears. Thank you. And there's your mimic. Alright. I thought that one would have the dark mask, but I guess not. Might be on a different one later on. But alright. So that should clear out this room. So let's quickly check out Gower's Ring of Protection. Because it is a very, very interesting ring. Reduces damage taken from behind. Yes, it will reduce damage from your backside. So if you get attacked from the back, it just reduces damage. I think it reduces by like half, if not more. Yeah, Ring of the Assassin Gower, who has killed a half-dozen kings and several distinguished clergymen. Reduces damage taken from behind. For assassin, those whose own life is always at stake, the greatest liability is one's exposed back. In fact, if you put the ring on, you'll actually get a little buddy. Yep, you have a little soul on your back. I think it's just an undead prisoner model kind of thing on your back, but yeah, very, very interesting. It is. Yeah. I think you can't be backstabbed either. I think as long as you have this on, you also can't be backstabbed, but alright. Though it does have low durability, so don't go relying on it too much. Yeah, it's 75. But Alright. I believe that is everything for this room. I don't think there's any fake walls or anything down here. I wish there was one like right here below the stairs, but nope. I wouldn't be surprised if there was an invisible hollow in here, but... Alright. Pressing on. Interesting little door. I should probably take a herb. Let's eat a wilted herb. We have quite a few of them. That shouldn't help. Alright. Should be... there's the gargoyle. And since we already took care of the Elon Knight Captain, the gargoyle shouldn't be too hard on its own. Yes, this is a... I think this door is from Dark Souls 1 in Anor Londo. I think it's one of those doors that you can't open that's just kind of there for decoration. I think it's a similar one, or if not the same. The color is definitely the same. I mean, this is all dragon motifs, so maybe not. Probably not. I probably just, just the colors are the same, so I think it's the same. But oh well. Anyway, all right. So up here is the gargoyle. Ready up. Come on, buddy. I know you come alive, so come alive. There we go. Oop. Thought I blocked. Thank you. And I'm pretty sure he respawns, so I think he'll always be up here. The Elon Knight Captain definitely, but I think the gargoyle as well. Gauntlets getting some drops. It's just surprising because I don't have anything that increases drop rate. Let's just hop back down. Let's get our replenishment going. The door should have some familiar faces in here. Yeah. Those ladies, they're gonna hurt. Just take my word for it, they're gonna hurt. And they're very resistant to, ow, that's loud, I'm sorry. And again, they're very resistant to the elements, so just kind of, probably best to just do this. So that did that. What does this do? I'll just poke her at a distance. There we go. Mr. Ghosty McGhosts. Go away. We have 5 repair powders, 10 butterflies. Excellent. Just won't say no. You guys why are you guys dropping everything? Like, everyone drops something. Magic stone, sure. Dragon charm, definitely take. I'm pretty sure you're not trapped. Acid flash shard, definitely worth it. Can't go that way, can't go this way. This will open up the gates. As well as this door. Well, at least allow us to open the door. Yep. There we go. Back to where we started. One big loop. All for an Estus Flask Shard. And some rings. Or Gower's Ring of Protection. Some other stuff, but... Alright. And... You know what? Yeah, we'll rest. We can rest now. So all we have to do now is take the elevator up. And that should lead us out. Or allow us to get the key to get to this door. So now we'll take the long ride up. That leads to the golem. Pretty sure there's no other drop-off point. Here's the call elevator lever. Yeah, that's the embedded. He's no key to the embedded in inventory, so we can't kill him. He won't go away until we have the key to the embedded. Yep. And behind him is a Milfinito. Yep, has a Milfinito. So we'll have to come back here once we get the key to the embedded, which is in the Shrine of Amana. So it's going to be a hot minute before we do that. But we will come back. We will come back. Very fancy cage. Did Vendrick capture her, or did Nashandra? That's the question. I mean, if you say Vendrick, you can make the argument that he used her to help his study into the essence of a soul. Yeah, but Nashandra, I don't know. I don't know why she would want him, Milfinito. But just on the left, we'll just go around. One of them has the key to the door. Key to the King's Passage. This is the key. Key to the King's Passage in Drangelic Castle. King Vendrick tried all manner of things to purge the curse that threatened his kingdom. But when every last attempt failed, the king fled through the King's Passage. Basically, in order to find Vendrick, we have to go through the King's Passage, which is through that locked door. Soul Vessel, Fire Seed. Fire Seed is useless to us now, but Soul Vessel allows us to respec. So we have, I think, a third one, which is nice. The Fire Seed is not useless, it's just not... No, whatever. I don't really need them, don't really care for them. We could still use them to upgrade the other Pyromancy Flame we have. I think it's the Dark Pyromancy Flame, but I don't plan on using it, so... i.e. useless to us. Strong Magic Shield. Don't I already have that? Or is that Magic Barrier? Oh no, that's Strong Magic Shield. This one. Okay. Yeah. Basically just buffs our shield's ability to deflect damage. Alright. We'll be back. We'll be back. And now the long elevator ride down. To the King's Passage. Yes, here we are. Yep, this is the hallway I hate so much. Alright, so we will change our weapons out. Just grab the mace. They are resistant to to fire. I mean, they're resistant to lightning, but I think they're weak to magic. But I'm just gonna stick with a blunt force trauma. We'll stick with that. All right, this should be fine, but just gotta be careful. King's Passage. Item right here. Alluring Skulls. Don't remember. I don't think this opens up to anything. Yeah. You can see two people figures behind a tree. I don't remember if this does anything. I don't think it does. Alright, but yeah. This must be like a little shrine or something, but yeah, again, I don't think this does anything. It's just here for decoration. Alright. So, King's Passage. See some of these guys? Some of them don't have heads, some of them do. The ones with heads will get up. They will stand up, they will become an enemy. And these guys are pretty tough. They're stone knights, I think they're what the game calls them. Yeah, they're pretty resistant to most physical damage, except for a strike. I think they're strong against like fire and lightning, but I think they're weak to magic. Maybe dark, but yeah. There are a few of them down here, but again, anyone you see with a head on will stand up. If you don't want to deal with them, all you gotta do is knock their heads off. Well, eventually. Like that. Yep. You can knock their heads off. They won't get up, but, well, those guys will, but the only thing is that they won't drop items. Yeah, so. Very high poised. I was not expecting them to get up like that. Alright. If that could be an issue, because that means if you attack one of them, all four of them are going to come running at you, which is not very pleasant. Not one bit. But again, knock their heads off. They won't get up, but they won't drop anything. They can drop their weapon, which is another twin blade. They can drop their helmet, which is the Minotaur helmet. Which is what Oliver the Collector wore in Iron Keep. I think that's all they drop. They might drop a Titanite shards and chunks, but I was trying to get a look at their armor, but yeah, there are four of them, so that's well. Yeah, four of them. This one knocked its head off. Life gem. Don't mind if I do. Proud Knight, Twinkling Titanite. Don't mind if I do. Petrified something. We can trade to Tino and Dillo. Here we have Ash Knight Void, which we're not going to summon. Yep. And over here we have, here's what we want, Benhard of Jugo. Yep. you we will summon in a moment. Let us get prepared, because beyond here is the Looking Glass Knight, and he can actually be pretty tough. It is in an outdoor arena, so it is raining, so there is the wet factor, and he does use lightning attacks, so it's even worse at that point. Yeah. But the big issue with the Looking Glass Knight is twofold. One is his shield. It's a mirror shield, but the issue with it is that it will deflect all attacks. Melee, magic, projectiles, anything. It will deflect it. If you melee attack it, it hits the shield, you're going to bounce off, you're going to stagger for a second before you recover. So, magic attacks will just bounce off like a spell parry. Projectiles, again, will just be bounced off. So, you're not going to do any damage if you hit his shield. So the best way to do that is to actually put your weapon in your left hand. Surprisingly. Because when you attack with your left hand, you'll attack his open side, not against his shield. So you'll actually be able to actually hit him. But I find we're just going to use a spear. Yeah, we'll just use the spear. Yeah, because the spear's it's just a straight thrust forward. You shouldn't hit the shield. At least I don't think we should. But I think a spear is probably your better bet if you want to keep it in the right hand. Otherwise, just put it in your left hand. No, excuse me. Yep. Again, he's in the rain, so he's very strong against fire. I think he's moderately strong against lightning. Magic and dark, I think he's also pretty moderate. Strike weapons are your go-to if you're going to do physical damage. I think he's pretty resistant to slash. Thrust is probably neutral, but... Alright. Yep. And the other thing with the Looking Glass Knight is that he likes to summon help. Yep. He'll... I won't say every now and then, he'll kind of get into a position where he puts his shield out front, and he'll begin to summon a phantom. Yep. If you're online, he can summon other players. There is a mechanic with how you get picked for the Looking Glass Knight. I think you have to put down your summon sign in this little area right here. And if you put it down here, I think you get a chance to be summoned by the Looking Glass Knight. Yeah, so there's that PvP component to the fight if you're online, but we're going to play offline, so we're just going to summon stock NPC enemies. Some we already faced. It'll summon someone like Pate, or kind of like Pate. We'll have like a great shield, a spear. Another one is the great sword one we fought all the way back at the execution grounds, outside of the executioner chariot fight. That red phantom, he'll probably summon another one like that. Yep. And he will summon them every so often, and he can summon more than one. So if one's already active, he can still summon another. So either we have to kill him pretty quickly or take care of his summons quickly, otherwise you're going to get overwhelmed. Yeah, but other than that, he's a pretty straightforward knight type boss. He's not super fast, but he's not really slow. He will use lightning projectiles if you're outside of his melee range. Which in fact, it's actually not that bad. These have spell parries, but it only blocks 60% of physical, or 75. We can always give it a try. We can give it a try. Good try and parry is lightning attacks, but yep. So yeah, Looking Glass Knight. Shouldn't be too hard, but the two issues again is shield deflects everything, and he summons help. Yep. So hopefully our spear or halberd here will get through his or not hit his shield, but I have a feeling it will. But Alright, so now let's summon Benhart, because this is another fight that will progress his quest line. Again, he has to live, so if he dies during the fight, I will quit out and I will try again. So you got that, Benhart. You gotta stay alive. You gotta stay alive. He is susceptible to poison, so I'm thinking I might want to use the poison dagger we have just to inflict it. And we'll try lightning. Alright. You ready, Benhart? Let's do this. Ow. I think he can be parried, but I'm not gonna try. Yeah, there's our deflect off the shield, but you gonna summon someone? You gonna summon someone? Okay. Ah. Thought I dodged out of the way. Another one. There we go. He's gonna summon a helper. He's poisoned. Get this going. He does have increased defenses while he's summoning. Ow. Take care of his little helper. Nope. Alright. Looking Glass Knights. We got a soul. Alright. The Looking Glass Knight. Alright. That could, to be honest, that could have been a lot worse. It was actually pretty cool looking, that little triangle lightning, but yeah. Looking Glass Knight. And again, he's not too hard. I mean, he is harder than the other bosses we fought so far in the castle, but he's a decent challenge. He's a decent challenge. And again, his shield is the main thing with his fight, because it will deflect everything. You saw Benhart getting knocked back off of it with his sword. You got knocked off as well. And again, he's slow, but he's not fast, or he's not fast, but he's not slow either. And you saw his follow-ups did come out pretty quick. And he will imbue his weapon with lightning every now and then to a swing. He'll throw a projectile. He has one projectile attack that kind of throws out several orbs in a fan-like pattern. And he does summon help. Yep. While he's summoning, he does have increased defenses, but you could still do damage to him, just not as much. That's also a good time to take our poison weapon and just kind of whack at him. We did eventually get poison on him, so that definitely helped. It's another 1,000 HP we didn't have to really worry about. Yep. So, Luckily, Benhart did make this fight easier, I will say that. Have him distracting the Looking Glass Knight while we took care of the summoned help, as well as allowing us to attack his back behind his shield. But all in all, it's a good fight. It's a good fight. We're outside. We have low lightning defenses. He chucks lightning. He harnesses the power of the thunderstorm. Really good. Really cool. And we got his soul. Looking Glass Knights. The soul of the Looking Glass Knight, who challenges visitors to the Lordless Castle. Long ago, the King's Passage was a route taken by the bravest warriors to prove themselves, but now it only prevents one from pursuing the runaway king. Yeah, so it looks like the King's Passage was like a trial area for those who want to prove themselves, but now it's become like a little blockade of sorts for anyone pursuing the king. Alright. Looking Glass Knight. And also, since we beat the Looking Glass Knight, Mullen in Majula should have his armor set. And so we can get his armor now from Mullen. Although his weapon and shield, you have to go trade that, I think, with Ornifex. So, alright. Alright, so here's the elevator down. But before that, we have a chest. We shouldn't be trapped. Soul Bolts, Spell Quartz Ring +2, and 3 Bonfire Ascetics. Nice. Spell Quartz Ring is definitely a good ring to have, especially coming up in the Shrine of Amana. But we have Soul Bolts, 45 Intelligence. One of the sorceries devised by Strade, the great mage of ancient Olithus. Fires a blinding, piercing bolt of light. Stray started with an unwieldy spell that backfired on its caster, and in time, perfected it. So he basically had a spell that would backfire on him every time he cast it, but he kept at it till he made it perfect. That's what we have, Soul Bolts. Strayed, I mean, he's cool. So Soul Bolts, 3 Bonfire Ascetics, and Spell Quartz Ring +2. This gave us 80, this gives us 100. Nice. Again, definitely a good thing to have in the Shrine of Amana. Take the elevator down, although I do want to see if Nishandra is still there. We're still getting rained on, apparently. That's what that little visual effect is all about around us. Just checking for invisible hollows. I don't think there's any in here, but... Alright. Here we go. Bless the branches. Green blossom. We'll take. We can light our torch here if we want. The Shrine of Amana. Yeah, when people say, yeah, let's just say when people say they don't like Dark Souls 2, this is one of the areas that first comes to mind. This place. Yeah. It's a watery area, there's sheer drop-offs that's hard to see. You have, Archdrake warriors, as well as maidens who cast spells at very long ranges. Like, we can get down to where that fire is right there above our heads, and a maiden from over there will be shooting magic spells at us. Yeah, it's that far, and they'll shoot it constantly, so... Quite a number of enemies in the water. And that singing is a Melfinito. Yep, there's a few of them in here, or it was actually like 3. There's one in that hut. There's another one and another hut, I think, on the other side. I mean, it is a really cool place. It reminds me of the Great Hollow mixed with the Izalith. Yeah, because in Lost Izalith they had all these branches all strewn about the place, and the Great Hollow has like this little canopy-like thing above us, and all that water. I mean, it's a very, very beautiful place. Yep, so spell parrying is going to be very, very handy down here. Alright. I think those Archdrake warriors, I think they can drop Twinkling Titanite. So yeah, we're going to be best friends with them. But so let's head. We'll go back to Majula real quick, just so we can buy the Looking Glass armor.
Is that a shard? Here, to see. However,
Also have another shard to give. I forgot. That should be plus. That's be 12 uses.
that tiny thing, and it...
Got you. I don't think you have anything to say, but we'll just check with you. We'll just run around and check with the NPCs. I'm pretty sure Chloe has updated her stock.
I will always be here. Long ago. Did you notice at the end point?
Right.
May you find
73 deaths. Yep. We need another 27 before he gives us a Ring of Steel protection. So, yeah.
I'm glad to see you're... It was a perilous trek across... I faced the most...
Right. Nothing new, probably. Nope.
Be safe.
Our Pyromancy Flame's already maxed out, so we can't upgrade that. Anything new from you? Still have to buy some of these. Oh, now these spells are now unlimited. Yep, so we can now have unlimited great heavy soul arrow. Just stack them. Yeah, same with all this. Yeah, I think this happens after we go through... Once we reach the Shrine of Amana, I think this updates his inventory to buy unlimited.
I sense a dark power here. Something akin to source. I wish to find out just what. One day might...
Alright. Yep, so now we can buy a bunch of stuff from him. I don't think Leningrad has anything.
Oh. My Witlet just as oblivious. Well,
Alright, nothing new from you. Alright, Chloe, your inventory should have updated.
You've been long away. What would you like? Well, I've only one thing to provide, and we both know what that is.
Yes, it's stones.
You see that blacksmith? He's sort of the poor, but...
Yeah, so now she has large shards unlimitedly, and we can also buy 3 poison and 3 bleed stones if we want. Yeah, so now we don't have to go to Macduff to get the large shards, we can just buy them here. They're the same price. So just buy the shards here, upgrade with Lenegrast. Only go to Macduff whenever we want to infuse.
no interest.
And that inventory update only happens once you get to Shrine of Mana. Alright, let's go check in with Lycia. I think her spell inventory updates as well. Well, I think we just buy all the spells again if we want. Alright. Lycia?
You've had quite a journey, I can see. You must have a glorious number of souls by now. What a wonderful feeling that must be.
Easy now.
Miracles have been passed, isn't it extra? And now?
Right. Peace chime, yep. And now we can buy any of these spells unlimitedly, yep. The only one we really care for is Lightning Spear, just to have more casts, which I will buy like 2. So, Yep, so now we have buy as many as we want or need. Yep.
May the power offer your soul.
Yep. Again, that only happens once we get to Shrine of Amana. So, more casts of Lightning Spear, never a bad thing. Let's check in with Shalquar.
Oh, what are you doing here? Have you lost your way? I believe you're in search of the king. Well, he's keeping company with the dead.
How do you know that? How do you know where the king's at, Shalquar? Are you perhaps a king's pet? Hint, hint, wink, wink, foreshadowing, whatever you want to call it. But, yeah, I don't think you have anything new with your inventory. Nothing new. Alright, Shalquar. Checking with Kale. I don't think there's anything new with you, because staring at the map again. I don't think there's any new flames either. Yeah. Yep, no new flames. Alright. Let's go check you out. I don't think you have anything new.
Hey, what have you been up to? Oh yeah, somebody told me, not built by the king, no, the tomb, and there's hell.
Yeah, nothing new. Okay, let's get some of these. Sure.
Cheers for that.
Alright. Now, Molan, you should have a new armor set for us.
You need armor? Go ahead. See what I'm offering. I'm rich! I don't... home.
You should have the Looking Glass Knight. Ooh, it's a lot more expensive than I thought. But, yep. Made of metal, but it has high lightning defense. Those who wish to serve the king as loyal warriors must take the king's passage and face the Looking Glass Knight. Those who fail the test are sacrificed by the mercilessly specular? By the merciless specular monstrosity. Alright. So it guards the entrance to the king's passage. Yep. Some very good heavy armor here. And by heavy, I mean it's heavy, yeah. But, I don't have enough souls on me right now. I probably will grab some between episodes, but... Alright.
Are you sure?
Yes, I'm sure. I don't think you have anything new, Valencia.
You would...
Oh, you do? Okay. So I guess when we defeat the Looking Glass Knight, she restocks bright bugs. Yep. So now we got to buy those as well before we venture on.
Lonely.
But they are now 48,000 apiece for bright bugs. Which is sheesh. Do one last thing. We'll go check with Ornifex, see what the Looking Glass Knight Soul gives us. I know it gives us his weapon and I think his shield, but let's just say his shield's not quite as good as he makes it out to be. Too soon. Again, too soon. I hate these guys so much. And you spiders, we're gonna die here. Let's get back inside. Drink up. I'm gonna have to despawn these enemies. I'm just gonna have to despawn in between episodes. It's just nuts. That was crazy. I'm gonna have to come back here, despawn all these enemies just so every time I go to Ornifex I don't have to deal with their shenanigans. There should be a door here that you can just go right through to Ornifex. They shouldn't have to go around. But alright, Ornifex.
Hello there.
Alright.
It is said that our technique originates with a pale beast.
Alright, so let's check out what we can get. So we can get the Thorned Greatsword. Sea and Strength, Dex, and Lightning. Interesting. Greatsword forged from the soul. Strong attack unleashes its latent power. Fearing something wicked, the king fled the castle and never returned. But his warrior, forever true to his command, stands ready to expunge those who would challenge him. So something... Vendrick was afraid of something. He feared something wicked. I wonder who or what. Yeah, and a special attack is like a weapon art of sorts. I think it launches a lightning bolt, but it's an option. It's an option. Or we get the King's Mirror. Strike, spell parry. Great shield created from the soul can deflect spells. Looking Glass Knight at the castle is said to have been a passage to another world. The Looking Glass at the castle is said to have been a passage to another world. Much like the painting, I guess. Like a little doorway between realms, I guess. It's a great shield, so I wonder if the spell parry it mentions is just having to block a spell. I am tempted to get the sword, but I don't know. I'll think about it. You can buy weapons, arrows. I have to come back to buy all this stuff. Never mind. I'll do this later.
Come again.
Alright. So let's go back to Majula, and then we'll call an episode. Yep. Alright. And with that, I am going to call an episode. Yep. We finished up Drangelic Castle. Yep. Start off at the, I think, the central castle bonfire. It's the bonfire past the Dragon Rider boss fights. So the first thing we did is we went left up the stairs, but that led us to kind of like a dead end. But so we backtracked to the bonfire, down the other passage, which led us to a elevator that was already stuck up. So we had to find a way to lower the elevator. So in order to do that, we had to climb a ladder, a pretty long ladder at that. Open a door, do a drop down, which led us to a room full of stone soldiers, though none of them activate. And a golem we had to activate. So the only way forward at that point was through a door. But that's where we first encountered I think they're called wall ghosts or specters. They're just kind of enemies attached to the walls. They're not that hard. They just appear at random locations. Yeah. So we dealt with him, opened the door to another room with 2 chests, but though that room had 2 mannequins. Yep. Those were the enemies we had to lure back to the golem in order to activate it to lower the elevator. So that's what we did. Lured them to near the golem, took care of them. Golem activated, he lowered the elevator for us, or at least he unlocked the elevator. Since we couldn't go back, we had to press forward back to the room with 2 chests. One of them had... drawing a blank. One of them had the Soul Greatsword and Cathus Chime, and I think the other one had... I don't remember. I'm sorry. I don't know. They had something. I don't quite remember, but that led us through another door into a big little hall, which had another executioner chariot horse enemy. This time not as a boss, but as like a regular enemy, as well as a few old knights. So luckily, if you fight the chariot horse enemy, the knights don't aggro onto you as long as you don't go up the stairs. Yep. So we dealt with the horse enemy. He doesn't respawn, and he does guarantee the drop Gower's Ring of Protection. It's a ring that provides defense against on the back. It reduces damage taken from behind. I think it also negates backstabs. So as long as it's not broken, you'll get reduced damage from the back. Although it has relatively low durability, I think the damage it reduces does durability damage, so the more damage it blocks, the quicker it will degrade. So just keep that in mind. So after we dealt with the horse enemy, we went up the stairs, dealt with the old knights. One had a giant mace, the other one had giant swords. We took the right staircase first, led us to a metal chest containing another Firestorm Pyromancy. And then we went to the other side of the staircase, which led us to another Mimic. Yep. This one had, I think, a Petrified Dragon Bone and something else. And I think, the Old Knight Hammer was the chest back where we picked up the Soul Great Arrow. That was for the other chest. But the Mimic, he gave us again a petrified dragon bone and something else. I don't remember. Yeah, I don't quite remember, but he didn't give us what I thought he gave us. He didn't give us the dark mask. Yeah, he didn't give us the dark mask. Nope. So, but we dealt with him anyway. So another mimic down. And after that, we pressed forward. Trying to remember where it took us. I think it took us like to outside. Normally there would be an Lawn Knight captain shooting at us, but we already took care of him earlier. Yep. And then we went a ladder up to where the Lawn Knight captain would have been, and there was another gargoyle. Yep, just by himself. I'm pretty sure he respawns, but yep. So we took care of the gargoyle, dropped back down the ladder. Through the door where there were 2 desert sorceresses waiting for us. Yep. That room is very dangerous because the desert sorceresses hit really hard with their pyromancies, so it's just best to use your bow and arrow or some sort of physical range attack to take care of the one closest to you by going in and out of the doorway, using the door to kind of block the attacks. And once that one's down, the other one in the back's pretty easy to deal with because she doesn't really have pyromancy to go that far. So just use your bow and arrows again, just pluck her down. In that room, there was I think 10 flame butterflies and 5 repair powders. Definitely good. I think there was another chest which had the Estus Flask shard, so another use of our Estus Flask, and the lever that opened up the door that took us right back to the bonfire. Yep, that was a little return back from our initial up the stairs. Yep. So then we were able to take the elevator all the way up to where we found an imprisoned Melfinito. Yep. In order to free her, we need the key to the embedded in order to get rid of the gimp on the door. He's like a gimp. I don't know what else to call it. I mean, he's the embedded, but he looks like a gimp. Yeah. So until we get the keys to the embedded, there's like nothing else we can do with that little interaction. So we just kind of blew the chests around the cage. The first one had the key to the King's Passage, which was required to press forward. Another one had a fire seed and a soul vessel, which fire seeds, soul vessel, definitely take. It's another respec opportunity. And the last chest had Great Magic Shield, which we already had, which boosts our shield's ability to defend. Yep. So after that, we took the elevator back down, opened up the door to the King's Passage. Yep. I think it was a soul item on one of the skulls. Yep. And then we dealt with the Stone Knights. Yeah. I was hoping we could take care of them one at a time by shooting their heads off before they stood up, but I guess they all activate together, which makes that little passageway very dangerous. They have pretty high poise. I think the mace, if I had the stone ring on, probably would have staggered them, but yeah. But luckily the mace killed them in 2 hits, so they weren't that bad. Yeah, again, they're probably weakest to strike, so just use strike weapons against them. And luckily there's only 4 of them, so... So we took care of those Stone Knights. Pressed forward towards the boss arena, picking up a life gem, I think another soul item. And then we got to the Looking Glass Knights. Yep. Well, first thing we did was summon Benhard of Jugo. Yep. So we summoned Benhard of Jugo. He is the Looking Glass Knight is another boss where we can progress this quest line as long as he survived. So we summoned Benhart, and then we took on the Looking Glass Knights, who could have been a lot worse, I will admit. Benhart made the fight easier, but yeah. Looking Glass Knight's not difficult, but he's not easy. Yeah, he can kill us pretty quickly if we let him, especially if he uses his lightning attacks, and if we're unlucky by hitting his shield all the time. Yeah, because again, his shield is his biggest obstacle is his shield. It deflects everything. Maybe it melee attacks, spells, projectiles, you name it, it bounces off. So that's why we kind of took on this CN Halberd, hopefully using its thrust attack to avoid hitting the shield, but still ended up hitting it every now and then. So. Yeah, he also took our poison daggers in the hope of poisoning him, but he seemed fairly resistant to it. But with Benhart's help, we did kill the Looking Glass Knight, even though he did summon a helper. The Looking Glass Knight can summon helpers, and if you are online, he can summon other players. So just be careful. Just be careful. Yep. So we just kind of used Benhart kind of to allow us to hit the backside of the knight, or have Benhart attack the knight on his backside. Yeah, so just whittle them down, dodge the attacks, the usual. And then we defeated the Looking Glass Knight. Yep, got a soul. Looted the chest before taking the elevator down, which had the Spell Quartz Ring +2. I think some bonfire ascetics and something else. And Flash Bolt, I think is what it's called, or Soul Bolt. Soul Bolts, okay. Yep. So the ring's definitely good for Shrine of Mana. The other two are meh. So after that, we took the elevator down, went through the passage, looted another green blossom, and then we came upon Shrine of Amana. Shrine of Amana. Oh yeah. When people say they don't like Dark Souls, that's usually what comes first. Shrine of Amana. It can be overwhelming, especially when you have the little Archdrake maidens using their spells at such long ranges that you can't quite retaliate. So you're gonna have to either constantly dodge their attacks, get behind cover, or spell parry. All the while trying to fight the enemies in melee. So it's a real hassle. It can be a lot. It can be a lot. But we'll eventually deal with it. We're gonna have to, because that's the only way forward. So after that, we came back to Majula, just checked in with some of the NPCs. Yep, so Carillion spells can now be bought in unlimited amounts. Lycia's miracles can also be bought in unlimited amounts now. Cloan now has large shards in unlimited amounts, as well as 3 bleed and poison stones. Mullen sells the Looking Glass Knight armor now, and you can get the Looking Glass Knight's weapon or shield from Ornifex. So, yes. Going through Drangelic Castle is another little milestone, so a lot of different NPCs have updated inventories after that. But, alright. And that was it. We finished up Drangelic Castle. And next episode, I'll probably do the Dark Diver. I'll probably do the Pilgrim of the Dark Covenant little quest line, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, so I'll probably go to each of Grendel's location, clear out the Chasm of the Abyss in each location. That should rank up the Covenant per location. And hopefully at the end we'll take on Dark Lurker. Pretty difficult boss. He is pretty difficult, yeah. He loves to spam spells with big blast radiuses, and he'll duplicate himself, and he's pretty tough. We may not be able to beat him. Well, we will eventually beat him, but it might take a few attempts. But that's probably what we'll do next episode. Yeah. And then after that, we'll go through the Shrine of Amana and into the Undead Crypt. Yep. Reaching the end game. But again, that is for another episode. And I thank you all for watching. And I'll see you all next time.